G'day everyone and welcome to another episode of the CX Matters podcast. My name is Justin Tippett, CEO of AXPA, and in this podcast I am joined by someone who is incredibly passionate about the topic we're going to be talking about, employee engagement. Welcome, Luke Jamieson.
G'day Justin, and g'day everyone listening.
Mate, really excited to talk about this topic because I know it's one that you are very passionate about. So I'm going to start straight off the back and I guess a bit of a definition, if you like, of first of all explaining what is employee engagement, and to a second question, that is, why is it important?
Yeah, well, employee engagement I think has become on the lips of everyone. I think 5 years ago it was all about customer experience. And then I think the pandemic really highlighted the need for employee experience, employee engagement. So employee engagement is, the way I define it, is that it's what's happening within you that's driving the engagement that you have with the organization that you work for. And that's made up of 12 key ingredients.
Awesome. So we're going to share those 12 ingredients with our listeners now. But before we reveal that list, everyone's going, damn it. I just wanted to ask you, because another term that I hear often is employee experience. Is that the same thing as employee engagement, or is there a difference?
There is a difference. And although they can impact each other, the way I like to, in just really simple terms, the way I like to describe it is, employee engagement happens within you. Employee experience happens to you.
Awesome. So can you give me an example? I can think of a couple, but I'll throw it to you. What's an example of employee experience? So something that happens to you.
Let's take, for example, an onboarding of a new company. So very experiential time. You're learning new things, getting things thrown at you. A lot of things can be about, what was the onboarding experience? Did I know where I had to go on my first day? Did my laptop show up at home day one in time for me to start work? Did I get a box full of swag that makes me feel part of the team? That's the experience. They're things that are happening to you.
Yep.
It's the engagement. Engagement is more around what's changing within me that's driving me to want to get up and be an active, good contributor to this workplace.
Okay, so if I expand on experience again, a perfect example that you just gave then is that onboarding experience, right? Because so many companies still get it wrong, right? They don't even know where to report into when their first day, let alone actually get all the nice branded swag and t-shirts and pens and all that sort of stuff that come with it, right? So, but experience obviously can go well beyond just that onboarding, right? Because it's also about your ongoing development, career opportunities, etc. Yeah,
that's where I think it becomes more engagement. I think it's the experiences. Again, it's like what happens to you. So maybe I have a tough conversation with a manager. That's an experience.
Yep.
Maybe we have a town hall, and I get to go and experience that and I'm experiencing how people are giving me that information. It's then how that information it makes me feel, and then how do I respond to that, which is the engagement side.
Engagement, yeah. So as you said, they're often intertwined, right? But that experience can go right through, for clicheing another term, the employee journey, right? You have experiences the whole way along your journey, from the moment you're employed till the moment you're not employed, right? But those experiences can then impact directly onto your engagement levels.
Exactly. They can influence how you feel about the workplace. It's the same with a customer experience, versus maybe a customer engagement. So a customer experience, we would say all those things happen. Here's the touch points, here's those key moments of truth within your buying journey. But then the customer engagement might be, then what do they do with that? Do they become a brand advocate and then promote that brand? Do those things actually drive? You would say that that's an engaged customer because of the behaviors and the things that have happened within that they then take action on.
Yep. Okay. Makes perfect sense. So,
experience is input, engagement is the output.
Yeah, there we go. Nice, simple way of looking at it. So, all right, now everyone's going, okay, that's awesome. Whatever, stop crapping on, guys. Give me these 12 things, right? So I'm going to put it to you, Luke. You mentioned that there's 12 key ingredients to employee engagement. So let's reveal those to our listeners now.
Yeah, sure. So in a relevant order, a sense of purpose. So I call them senses. So having a sense of purpose, so knowing why you are doing something and knowing why the organization does something. A sense of meaning. So what I do matters. What my company does matters. Are they a green company? Are they ethical company? All those sort of things. An impact. So does what I do make a difference? A sense of progress. So am I developing? Am I moving forward in my career, or am I stagnant? A sense of achievement. So once I get there, do I actually get celebrated? Then we start to move into some of the maybe more touchy-feely sides of things. So a sense of relationship. So what's the relationship that is starting to be built? A sense of community. So we've got the relationship. Now there's this sense that there's a broader sense of that community that is around within a workplace.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean you feel like you belong in that workplace, but there's a sense that there's a community. A sense of trust, a sense of self, still knowing myself. Am I a human being? Am I Luke Jamieson within this workplace, or am I just a cog in the wheel? A sense of ownership and autonomy. So those things about, do I get to make a difference? Do you trust me to make decisions? Can I think for myself? And all of that, those 11, should lead down to a sense of belonging. So do I belong here? Do I feel safe? Is this my place? And if you can tick all of those boxes, you are well and truly have an engaged employee.
Wow, there we go. 12 ingredients to employee engagement. Now, Luke, I'm going to ask you without notice. You could tick each one of those, and as you said, it should equal employee engagement. But how are companies, contact centers, CX, frontline, etc. How are people measuring employee engagement? How do you know that everyone's engaged?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Justin. And I think maybe one of the mistakes that I see around trying to measure engagement is using activity as a proxy. So does someone show up to work? Do they meet their KPIs? These are just activities. Does that necessarily mean they're engaged? No. And you can have someone who shows up to work every day, ticks the KPIs, but be pretty disgruntled and damaging, the culture around that.
Yep.
So how I think from a measurement point of view, I think regular pulse checks with your employees is good. Not annually. Very regularly, maybe even as much as daily. And also, I think you can. I think the measure of culture as well. So culture, in my definition, is behaviours repeated. A group at a group level, right? So everybody's doing the same behaviours over and over again.
Yep.
If those are positive behaviours and people are on board with that, and obviously there's some outlying, pretty obvious measurements, attrition rates and productivity rates. These are all things that can be indicators that someone's not engaged.
Yep.
But I think it's definitely a holistic. You have to take a real holistic view to be able to measure engagement. Do I have the perfect algorithm or sum to be able to tell you what that is? No, I don't.
It's all right. I don't think anyone does, Luke. So, and if they did, they'd probably be multi-zillionaires by now, right? So maybe that's another project we should work on offline, right? Of a sure-proof way to measure employee engagement. But certainly a topic for another episode, no doubt, on maybe some key ways that you can measure employee engagement. But I think you hit the nail on the head. I think some regular pulse surveys and looking at some of the indicators, as you said, attendance, productivity rates, all these things are really good indicators. Typically, if someone's not engaged, you can expect those to be in the red as opposed to the green, right? So,
I think those 12 key ingredients is a really good way as a litmus test to say, are these being ticked? And if they are, then and someone feels those, then they're probably engaged.
Fantastic. Well, I expect everyone now to be looking at that as a checklist. So if you want to find more information on tips for employee engagement, make sure you check out all our articles. Luke's got a couple there on the AXPA website, so acxpa.com.au. Luke, thanks always for sharing your expertise and passion.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me, and thanks everyone for listening.
My pleasure, and likewise, thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Where you can find us in all the usual places where you find podcasts, and of course on YouTube. And that's it from me. Bye for now. Thanks again, Luke. Bye for now.